Listen and practice.
My mother never came to meet me at the train station when I arrived from New York, so I always walked alone from the station to my mother's house. And so tonight I had time to think. I had some very important news for my mother, but I didn't know what to say to her. I wrote to my mother every week, but it's difficult to write in a letter, "I think Agnes likes me," or "I'm in love with her," or "I think she's in love with me." I want to ask Agnes to marry me. Well, I couldn't do it. And yesterday, I asked Agnes to marry me, and she said yes. My mother was a widow. I was her only child, and now I was engaged and she didn't know. I was ready for a difficult evening. I walked up to the front door. There was my mother. She smiled and put her arms around me. There was something different about her smile. I thought, she knows about Agnes, but I said nothing. I went into the dining room, and here I had a surprise. There were 3 chairs, 3 plates, and 3 glasses. Was Agnes here? Was it a surprise for me? There was a knock at the door. "It's Agnes," I thought, and I ran to open it. But it was Mr. Nixon. He was an old friend of the family. "Good evening, young man," he said. "Mr. Nixon is here for dinner, Philip," said my mother. I liked him, but I wasn't very happy to see him tonight because I wanted to talk to my mother. We started our dinner, but we didn't say very much. At the end of the meal, I told my mother that I wanted to go to the post office. I had an important letter to mail. "A letter to a girl?" laughed Mr. Nixon. "Yes," I said. When I got back home, Mr. Nixon was still there. "Come and sit down, Philip," he said. "Can I talk to you?" I sat down. "Well, my boy," he said, "I want to marry your mother." I was surprised. I asked her to marry me yesterday, and she said yes. Did she tell you about me in her letters? No? Well, it's difficult to write about that in a letter, of course. I laughed. Yes, it is. This is wonderful news. Then my mother came in, a little red in the face. It was something new to me that my mother could fall in love. Perhaps, like all sons, I only thought about my own life. So I decided to say nothing about my news. That evening, my mother came first for me. I could tell her about Agnes tomorrow.
Listen and practice.
When I was young, I couldn't play very well at all. I wanted to play the drums. I lived in Poland until I was 8. When I moved to Paris, France, I met a very great man named Mr. Jourdain. He became my teacher. After 2 years, I could play the piano very well. I played my first concert when I was 11. It was so difficult. I could play, but I couldn't look at the people. I came here when I was 12. I could speak Polish and French, but I couldn't speak English. I liked it here, so I learned very fast.
Listen and practice.
Phil Johnson is 23 years old. He's a bus driver and a student. He's very busy. On weekdays, he gets up at 6 o'clock in the morning and goes to work at 6:30. He usually has breakfast in the car. He works all day. He always has lunch from 12 to 12:30 in the afternoon. He usually buys a sandwich in the center of town. He leaves work at 4 in the afternoon and goes to school. He has school from 5 to 8 p.m. He gets home at 8:30 in the evening, and then he has dinner and does homework. He goes to bed at 11.
Listen and practice.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Today, I want to talk about a very interesting wedding tradition in America. It is common in many other Western cultures too. The tradition is that every bride is supposed to wear something old, something new, something borrowed, and something blue on her wedding day. The saying comes from an Old English nursery rhyme. Something old helps the bride remember her family history. It is often a piece of jewelry from the bride's grandmother. Something new is a symbol of the couple's new life. It is usually the bride's shoes, but it could be anything. Something borrowed represents the importance of friends in a marriage. It can be anything given to the bride by her closest married friend. Finally, something blue is worn because the color blue symbolizes purity and loyalty. It can be anything from a piece of clothing to a flower. This tradition has been around for many years and is still very common.
Listen and practice.
My name is Jimmy, and my biggest weakness is being lazy. I just lie around the house all day and don't get anything done. I will try to set at least 3 realistic goals every day to help get motivated.
Listen and practice.
Hello, I'm your heart. You know what I do? I pump blood around the body. But how? Look inside. Here I am, inside the rib cage. I'm right between your lungs. That's important because the blood has 2 main jobs. One is taking oxygen to the rest of the body. The other is bringing carbon dioxide back. The lungs breathe in oxygen, and they breathe out carbon dioxide. Some blood comes from the lungs to me. That blood has oxygen in it. Some blood goes from me to the lungs. That has carbon dioxide, and the lungs get rid of it. Can you see the arteries and veins? Both are tubes that blood travels through. Arteries carry blood away from the heart. Veins carry blood back to the heart. I keep it all moving smoothly.
Listen and practice.
According to a survey conducted in over 20 countries, the most serious type of pollution in the world is now water pollution. Water pollution is a major cause of death worldwide, and at present, around 500 million people in the world do not have access to clean drinking water. So how can you help? There are many ways to help prevent it. One way is to reduce water use. We can do this by taking shorter showers. Second, throw away dangerous chemicals properly. That means do not put paint or car oil in the trash. Third, only buy from companies that have good environmental records. If polluting companies can't make money, they will have to change their ways.
Listen and practice.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is James Richardson, and I am from the Olympics Committee. The topic of my speech today is the differences between the Summer and Winter Olympics. I want to start by saying there are two kinds of Olympic Games: Summer Olympic Games and Winter Olympic Games. First, I will talk about the Summer Olympic Games. The Summer Games are bigger than the Winter Games. In the Summer Games, over 200 countries compete. Also, there are more than 40 different kinds of sporting events. But the Winter Olympic Games are much smaller than the Summer Games. In the Winter Games, just around 80 countries compete, and there are only 15 sports. While they are different, both the Summer and Winter Games are very popular worldwide.
Listen and practice.
Hi, everybody. My name is Kelly, and this is my pet dog, Mickey. He has silky white hair and droopy ears. I feed him dog food, but sometimes when he behaves or does something good, I give him tasty treats like sausages and steak. He is really special. Mickey brings the newspaper every morning and barks when strangers come by the door. I love Mickey. He is the only one who can comfort me when I feel gloomy. When I cry, he comes and licks the tears off my face. No ordinary dogs can do that. Only Mickey. Isn't he adorable?
Listen and practice.
What is it like in Antarctica? It is the coldest place in the world, and the temperature there can reach -89 degrees. Almost all of the land is covered with snow and ice. Only a few kinds of animals, like penguins and seals, live there. There are no permanent human residents in Antarctica. The only human residents of Antarctica are the few thousand researchers who go there temporarily for research every year. They normally go to Antarctica just during the summer period, because the climate during the other seasons is unbearable.
Listen and practice.
My name is Susie Kim. Today, I am going to give a presentation on my role model. Thank you for coming, and I hope you enjoy my presentation. My role model is my older cousin, Veronica. Ever since I was a little girl, I have always admired Veronica. Why? To start with, everyone at school knows her and wants to be her friend. That is because she is very friendly and kind. Veronica is also really smart. She gets really good grades and is going to a famous university next year to study engineering. If that wasn't enough, Veronica has the coolest clothes. All my friends say she has the best fashion sense. And, of course, Veronica is very pretty. She must be the prettiest girl at our school. I hope when I get older, I can be just like Veronica. It is all I want in the whole world.
Listen and practice.
Dinosaurs became extinct millions of years ago. Nobody knows for sure how they became extinct, but we do know a lot about them. Some of them were huge, dangerous reptiles with sharp, deadly teeth, and others were small, gentler species. There were hundreds of dinosaur species that lived in both cold and tropical areas of the world. Although we don't know what made them die off, researchers keep studying their fossils to find out.
Listen and practice.
Scorpions are one of the most deadly animals on the planet. They live in almost every country in the world. They are cold-blooded and nocturnal, which means they sleep during the day and hunt at night. Although they are small, their sting can cause serious pain. Most scorpions are not deadly to humans, but a few of them are. They kill around 2,000 people each year with their venom.
Listen and practice.
Do you know how you read these words? Your brain tells you what your eyes see. Your brain tells you what you see, hear, and touch. It tells your muscles when to move. It helps you to write, speak, draw, and do puzzles. Your brain is amazing. Your brain works all day and at night when you sleep. At night it makes you breathe, and it makes your heart work. At night your brain helps you to remember things that you learn in the day.
Listen and practice.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Alberto Zafra. Today, the topic of my speech will be American superstitions. We don't have enough time to go over all of them, so I will just talk about my favorite 3. Number 1. Americans say God bless you when someone sneezes. They do this because long ago, people thought when a person sneezed, evil spirits could enter his body. Number 2. Americans believe if you spill salt on a table, you will have bad luck. Strangely enough, they believe if you throw some salt over your left shoulder after you spill it, you will have good luck again. And finally, number 3. Americans believe if you break a mirror, you will have bad luck for 7 years. Luckily, they say if you wait 7 hours to clean up the broken glass, you will have good luck again.
Listen and practice.
Many young people around the world become Scouts. Scouts is an international organization for boys and girls aged 7 to 17 who want to learn about the outdoors. Scouts learn outdoor skills, leadership skills, make friends, and have fun. Camping is a very traditional Scouting activity. During a camping trip, Scouts go hiking and practice the skills they learn during Scouting meetings. At night, they often gather around a campfire to tell ghost stories and sing songs. Many Scouts say that camping is the best part of being a Scout.
Listen and practice.
When you are hungry, you eat. You put food in your mouth. Then you swallow. But where does the food go after that? The food travels down your throat and into your stomach, where all the interesting stuff happens. In the stomach, food is broken down into all the good things you need to grow big and strong. The stomach is shaped like a small bag. It can hold about 1.5 liters of food. That's a lot of food. There are special juices in the stomach that break the food down into really small pieces. A person eats about 450 kilograms of food each year. Imagine how busy a stomach is each day. That's why we have stomach aches sometimes. Too much food or the wrong kinds of food can make our stomachs hurt. Now you know what happens to the food you eat.
Listen and practice.
Bobby is a curious boy. One day, he saw a picture in a magazine. The picture showed a woman lying in a chair. She had 2 thin slices of cucumber on her eyes. It must be good for my eyes, he thought. That afternoon, Bobby cut 2 slices of cucumber. He laid on his back and carefully placed the cucumber on his eyes, just like the magazine photo. He felt so relaxed that he fell asleep. When Bobby's mother came home, the house was quiet. She wondered where Bobby was. Maybe he is sick, she thought. She went up to Bobby's room and found him sleeping with his 2 huge cucumber eyes. "Ah!" she gasped in surprise. But when she found out what Bobby was doing, she laughed. What a curious little boy!
Listen and practice.
Rico's mother tells him a story about a big bird. This bird has long legs and a long neck. What is it? It is an ostrich. When ostriches are frightened, they hide their heads in the sand. They think that if they cannot see danger, nothing bad will happen. One day, an ostrich was being chased by a wolf. It was really scared. So, it hid its head in the sand. The bird assumed that if he couldn't see the wolf, then the wolf couldn't see him either. But the wolf saw the rest of the ostrich, and he quickly ate the bird. Rico laughed. "What a dumb bird!" Rico's mother said, "Yes, pretending danger doesn't exist does not make it so."
Listen and practice.
I ran inside feeling really excited and nervous. That's when Dad explained it all to me. This happens every 18 years. That's why I had never seen it before. I'm only 10. So why did it look so big and bright? Well, the moon is normally 253,000 miles away from the Earth. But on this day, it was 31,000 miles closer to us. Don't worry, it's natural and normal. It will happen again in 18 years. How old will I be then? Wow, I will be 28 years old. But I won't be scared when I see it next time. When you understand why things happen, you are not afraid of them anymore. Keep your eyes open, and you will be able to see the big moon too.
Listen and practice.
Our teacher, Mr. White, has 2 sons. Both of them are deaf. They can't speak either. When the first boy was born, they found that he could not hear sounds. In great shock, Mr. White and his wife went to many different hospitals to seek treatment. After 3 years, their son still could not hear sounds. They accepted the fact that their son would never hear anything. His world would be silent. A few years later, their second son was born. Like their first child, this son was deaf too. After talking to experts, they learned that the reason why their children were born deaf was defective genes. Even so, Mr. White loves his sons very much. Every day he sends them to a special school. The 2 boys are very smart. Mr. White uses sign language to talk to his sons. He taught us some sign language too.
Listen and practice.
Believe it or not, you can greatly improve your health in 10 very simple ways. 1. Eat breakfast. Breakfast gives you energy for the morning. 2. Go for a walk. Walking is good exercise, and exercise is necessary for good health. 3. Floss your teeth. Don't just brush them. Flossing keeps your gums healthy. 4. Drink 8 glasses of water every day. Water helps your body in many ways. 5. Stretch for 5 minutes. Stretching is important for your muscles. 6. Get enough calcium. Your bones need it. Dairy foods like yogurt, milk, and cheese have calcium. 7. Do something to challenge your brain. For example, do a crossword puzzle or read a new book. 8. Take a time out, a break of about 20 minutes. Do something different. For example, get up and walk, or sit down and listen to music. 9. Wear a seatbelt. Every year, seatbelts save thousands of lives. 10. Protect your skin. Use lots of moisturizer and sunscreen.
Listen and practice.
The topic of my lecture today is the differences between ancient and modern buildings. First, I want to talk about ancient buildings. This is a very interesting subject for me because I studied ancient history in university. Ancient buildings were normally built of stone, and they took many years to complete. They were also much smaller than modern buildings. The tallest building of the ancient world was the Pyramid of Giza in Egypt. It was 146 meters tall. But now let's look at modern buildings. They are a lot different from the buildings of the ancient world. They are normally built of steel and concrete, and they only take a few years to complete. They are also much bigger than ancient buildings. The tallest building of the modern world is the Burj Khalifa in the United Arab Emirates. It is 818 meters tall.
Listen and practice.
On a hot summer day, Jim and Jill decided to sell lemon ice. But first, they had to make it. They poured lemonade into small paper cups and put the cups in the freezer. "Let's set up a table while we wait for it to freeze," said Jim. "Great idea," said Jill. Soon they had set up a table with a yellow tablecloth by the road. Jill went to the freezer, but came back empty-handed. "It's not frozen yet," she said. "Let's make a sign while we wait for it to freeze," said Jim. "Great idea," said Jill. They made a big yellow sign, "Lemon ice for sale." Soon, a crowd of kids formed in front of the table. Jim and Jill went to get the lemon ice. "It's still not frozen. It's just cold," said Jim. "What will we sell to all those kids?" "Lemonade!" exclaimed Jill. "Ice-cold lemonade!" Soon, Jim and Jill sold out of lemonade and started another batch.
Listen and practice.
My name is Ken, and I had a great Earth Day. My class went to the California National Forest. A park ranger showed us a lot of interesting things. We looked for spiders, ants, and beetles. We also talked about how to protect plants and animals by not littering, conserving water, and using environmentally friendly products. At the end of the day, everyone got to take home a baby tree. I'm going to plant mine in front of my apartment.
Listen and practice.
Adam is not going to school today. He is spending the day with his dad. That's right, it's Take Your Child to Work Day. Adam will be going to the fire station to watch how his dad works. Adam's dad is a firefighter. Today, Adam wants to see the big red fire trucks. He wants to see the black and white dog that lives at the fire station. He wants to see the big ladders. He wants to see everything. Yes, Adam is very happy. He and his dad get up early this morning. They take the bus to the fire station. Many parents will be bringing their kids to work today. The fire chief shows the kids around the station. It is very exciting. Adam has one wish. He wants to sit in the fire truck. He says, "Please, Chief, may I sit in the big red fire truck?" Adam climbs into the big seat. He feels the wheel. He sees many buttons. His dad presses a button. Wow! The fire siren makes a big sound. What a fun day!
Listen and practice.
Everyone needs food to live. It gives you energy to work and play. It also gives you nutrients to grow well and stay healthy. Do you eat a balanced diet with lots of different nutrients? Your body needs proteins to build muscles. Proteins are also important for healthy hair and fingernails. You can get lots of proteins from meat, fish and eggs. Dairy products like milk, cheese and yogurt also contain proteins. Many people don't eat animal products, but they can get proteins from plant products. Pulses like beans and lentils are rich in proteins. Many grains, nuts and seeds have proteins too. Which of these foods do you eat?
Listen and practice.
The next time you brush your teeth, take a closer look at your toothbrush. It's simple, it's easy to use. In fact, it's perfect for removing the dirt on and between your teeth. Before toothbrushes, people chewed on soft sticks. They even used feathers to pick their teeth after a good meal. Today, nearly everyone brushes their teeth with a toothbrush. The Chinese invented the toothbrush about 600 years ago. They used hairs from the Siberian wild pig to make the brush. Bamboo or bone was used for the handle. European travelers brought toothbrushes back from China, but they did not like the feel of the pig hairs, so they used horse or cow hairs instead. In modern times, most toothbrushes are made of nylon, but the purpose is the same, to keep your teeth clean. That way, you will grow up with strong, healthy teeth.
Listen and practice.
You have skin everywhere on your body. Your skin helps you to touch things. It helps you to know when things are hot or cold. Skin stops dirt getting into your body. It stops water getting into your body when it's rainy and when you swim. Hair grows out of your skin. Hair on your arms and legs stands up when you're cold. This stops your body getting too cold. Your skin makes sweat when you're hot. This stops your body getting too hot. Protect your body. Wash every day so you can get dirt and sweat off your skin and hair.
Listen and practice.
There are bones under your skin. These bones make your skeleton. Your skeleton helps you to stand up. There are joints in your skeleton too. Bones meet at joints. Elbows and knees are joints. Joints help you to move. Knee joints help you to jump and kick. A baby has small bones. Bones grow and they make you big and tall. Your bones stop growing when you are about 20 years old. Then there are 206 bones in your body. Protect your bones. When you ride a skateboard, wear pads to protect your bones and joints. Wear a helmet to protect your head too.
Listen and practice.
Last summer, I went on a week-long bus tour of Europe. On the first day, 20 people showed up. They were all of different backgrounds and cultures. At first, no one talked to each other. But gradually, people got to know each other better. Then, they started to eat together, like real friends. But one old man still didn't talk much. He just listened. He seemed to be a man of few words. Then, one day, as we were eating lunch, he opened his mouth. Slowly, he said, "Let's not waste any food. Let's all think about the farmers." Some young people gave him a strange look, but he won my respect immediately. He was right. Think about how much work it takes to grow rice and to make the meals on our tables. Since that day, I often think of that old man and his wise words while I am eating.
Listen and practice.
Have you ever heard the story of Robin Hood? He is a fictional character who steals money from the rich and gives it to the poor. In the United States, in the 1930s, there was something called the Great Depression. During that time, a lot of people lost their jobs, and people stopped spending money. Because of this, many banks closed and did not give people back the money they had put in the bank. A lot of people were mad at the banks, and some of them turned to crime. John Dillinger was one of those people. He and his gang went around the United States robbing banks. They stole over $300,000. Some people considered Dillinger to be a modern-day Robin Hood. They said the banks stole from ordinary people, so they were happy to see an ordinary person steal from banks. Eventually, Dillinger was caught and killed by police. And while some people considered Dillinger to be a hero, to the police and the banks he stole from, he was a very bad villain.
Listen and practice.
Today, I walked to school. As a matter of fact, everyone in my school walked to school. Why? Today is a special day. We call it Nature Friendly Day. What does that mean? Well, it means that for one whole day, we do something special for nature. Cars are one of the biggest causes of air pollution. They burn fuel so they can run. But as the fuel burns, it creates a harmful gas. It makes our air dirty and unhealthy. If we want to be nature-friendly, we need to think about new ways to get around. So, on this special day, we all decided to walk to school. And you know what? Walking to school wasn't that bad. We got some exercise, breathed in some fresh air, and saw things differently than when we were in a car.
Listen and practice.
Hello, everyone. My name is Peter Desmond. I write children's stories and fairy tales. The lecture I am going to give today is on animal symbols in fairy tales. Fairy tale writers often use animals as symbols to help tell their story. 3 of the most common animal symbols we find in fairy tales are eagles, fish, and snakes. First, I want to talk about the eagle. Eagles are used in many fairy tales as a symbol of change. So if you see an eagle, expect a big change to happen soon. Next, let's look at the fish. Fish are often used in stories to show personal transformation. So if the main character sees a fish, his behavior will probably change for the better. Finally, let's examine the snake. Snakes are used very frequently to show that something bad is about to happen. If you see a snake appear in your next story, prepare for the worst.
Listen and practice.
Some scientists believe that the dinosaurs were killed by a massive meteor that hit the Earth millions of years ago. Wow! Every minute, there was a bright flash of light in the sky. Last night, we went outside to watch the night sky. Wow! Every minute, there was a bright flash of light in the sky. Sometimes the light had a really long tail. I felt like I was watching a fireworks show, only it was made by nature. What were we seeing? Meteors. We sometimes call meteors shooting stars. But they are not stars. They are pieces of dirt and rock from outer space. Some are the size of a small grain of sand. But they make a big show when they enter the Earth's atmosphere. Some scientists believe that the dinosaurs were killed by a massive meteor that hit the Earth millions of years ago.
English Language Academy. Practice makes perfect.
Listen and practice.
What helps your bones and joints to walk, run, dance and jump? Muscles. Muscles pull your bones to move your body. Muscles in your legs help you to ride a bicycle. Muscles in your arms help you to row a boat. There are more than 600 muscles in your body. Running, swimming, dancing, and riding a bicycle are types of exercise. Exercise makes your muscles, bones, and joints strong. Your heart is a type of muscle. Exercise makes your heart strong too. Protect your body. Do exercise every day. What is your favorite type of exercise?
Listen and practice.
This past summer, I went to my grandpa's house in the countryside. There were no televisions or computer games. Instead, I spent time with kids in the neighborhood, picking wild berries and catching grasshoppers in the fields. The nights were the best part of my trip. We lay on the grass and watched the stars in the sky. It was nothing like the sky in the city. It was completely dark. You could not even see your own fingers. The stars were so bright and clear, and there were so many of them. For the first time, I saw the Big Dipper. I even saw the Milky Way. All the kids shared what we knew about the stars and picked out shapes with our imaginations. I was fascinated by the wonder of the night sky. It was so different from anything I had seen in the city.
Listen and practice.
Your eyes help you to see the world around you. They open and close many times every day. This is called blinking. When your eyes blink, they wash dirt out of your eyes. At night, your eyes close so you can sleep. Eyes blink about 15 times every minute. Your ears help you to listen to music. They help you to listen for cars in the street. Your ears can hear things when you sleep, too. Protect your eyes and ears. On sunny days, wear sunglasses to protect your eyes. Don't listen to very loud music. It's bad for your ears.
Listen and practice.
One day, my dad and I went to the fair. We heard some strange music coming from a little tent. There was a sign on the tent. Dr. Tomorrow will tell your future. I had just heard a story about a man who was famous for predicting the future. I was curious, so we went inside. An old man was sitting in a dark corner. He looked at my father's hands and talked about my father's past. About half of the things he said were true. This amazed both my father and me, for some of the things would have been hard to guess. Dr. Tomorrow offered to tell my father's future, but my dad said, "No thanks, the future comes fast enough." We thanked the man and walked out. We both wondered if a person could really know the future. I still do not know the answer to that question.
Listen and practice.
Wow! Something strange happened last night. It scared me at first. Lucky for me, my dad was home. What was it? A big moon, and I mean big, really big. It was the biggest moon I had ever seen. I saw it outside our house on the farm. It was rising from the end of the field. Normally, when the moon is full, it looks pretty big. But the moon last night was something I had never seen before. As it rose, it seemed to take up the whole sky. It was very bright. It was a weird orange color. And, scariest of all, it lit up the night sky as if someone had turned on a big light.
Listen and practice.
Today, we are going to learn about a few different kinds of doctors. Many of you probably already know that there is more than one kind of doctor. But you might be surprised by just how many there are. In total, there are over 60 different types of doctors, and each type specializes in a few things. Let's look at a few of those types now. The most common type of doctor is a general practitioner. General practitioners are family doctors. They are the first doctor a patient sees, and they treat general sicknesses. Another type of doctor is a cardiologist. Cardiologists are heart doctors. They treat heart disease and people who have had heart attacks. A third type of doctor is a neurologist. Neurologists treat problems of the nervous system. That includes any problem with the brain, spinal cord, nerves, or muscles. The final type of doctor I will talk about today is an obstetrician. They are pregnancy doctors. They treat women who are pregnant.
Listen and practice.
Today, I want to talk to you about the importance of nutrition at home. Every one of you is probably wondering what foods you should be eating. Nutrition for growing children is very important. Kids need foods which are rich in vitamins A, B, C, D, E, and K. Fresh fruits, vegetables, nuts, lean meats, whole wheat breads, and fish are all great sources of vitamins. My advice to you: look at the label on your food before you buy it. Read what daily percentage of vitamins each food has. Make sure that at the end of the day, you have had 100% of all your daily vitamin requirements. If you do that, you will grow up strong and healthy.
Listen and practice.
One holiday, when my aunt came to visit, she brought a special gift for my grandparents. Can you guess what it was? She had purchased a box of special birds' eggs. It contained pigeon, peacock, turkey, and chicken eggs. Why did she choose this gift? My grandma and grandpa are getting old, but they love animals. So my aunt wanted them to have some special birds. She spent a lot of time finding these special eggs. Some of these birds lay only a few eggs each month. She had to order them long before her visit. After my aunt brought the eggs to my grandparents, they used a big oven to hatch them. Before the holiday was over, these special eggs became special birds: pigeons, peacocks, turkeys, and chickens. Each of them was unique. They were very special gifts.
Listen and practice.
Hello, students. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Mr. Mackenzie. I am the school's principal. Thank you for coming. I want to talk to you today about an increasing problem at our school: peer pressure. For those of you who don't know, peer pressure is when your friends or classmates pressure you to do something that is bad. Unfortunately, friends and classmates often pressure each other to do things like skip class, cheat on tests, or be mean to other students. I know that it can be very tempting to do something just because other people are doing it, but it is important to learn how to say no. You don't want to get caught doing something you aren't supposed to do. It will cause you a lot of problems, trust me. Also, if any of you are ever having trouble and need help, or you just need to talk to someone, please visit me in my office. My door is always open to students in need.
Listen and practice.
Hello, class. My name is Jimmy. Today, I am going to give a presentation on my role model, my dad. I have admired my dad ever since I was young. He is the smartest man in the world. Every time I have problems with my homework, he teaches me how to solve them. My dad is good at sports, too. He can play baseball, soccer, and golf. He was the hero of his team. When I get older, I want to be just like my dad. It is my lifelong dream.
Listen and practice.
Good evening, everyone. The topic of today's seminar is the dangers of having too much stress. We all know that having some stress is good. It helps us keep busy, motivated, and excited. And if you don't have enough stress, you will become lazy and depressed. The problem, of course, is when we have too much stress. Too much stress is bad. It makes us feel tired, angry, and can even make us sick. The key to having a happy life is to find the right balance of stress in your life. This can be done by remembering 3 easy-to-follow rules. 1. Remember to keep your goals realistic. 2. Have a good balance between work and play. And 3. Have friends and family who can help you when things become difficult. If you follow those 3 rules, your life will be a lot happier. I guarantee it.
Listen and practice.
I am glad you are here. You obviously all want to become better students. That is a very important first step. Now, I would like to start by asking everyone a very important question. Do you know what kind of learner you are? There are 3 different types: visual, auditory, and interactive learners. The first type we are going to talk about is visual. Visual learners learn best when information is written in diagrams or in picture form. Next, let's look at auditory learners. Auditory learners learn best when they listen to information in lectures, tapes, or discussions. Finally, we have interactive learners. Interactive learners learn best by actively doing something, like building a science experiment or participating in a group discussion. You will take a short test to find out what kind of learner you are.
Listen and practice.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our first day of business class. Today, we will talk about how to run a successful business. If you are going to start a business, you need to remember 5 very important rules. They are the most important rules in business. The first rule is your product or service needs to be unique. If there are a lot of competitors that have the same product, nobody will want to buy yours. Second, you need to have a good team of workers. If you work with smart people and share ideas, you are more likely to be successful. Third, your business needs to be cost-efficient. You need to minimize overhead and maximize profits. Fourth, you need to be organized and have a strong business plan. If you don't have a plan for your business, you will surely fail. Finally, and most importantly, you need to satisfy your customers. Because remember, without customers, you don't have a business.
Listen and practice.
My name is Douglas Fontaine, and I am a successful business owner and entrepreneur. I started my first business when I was 14 years old. My mother is from Korea, and my dad is from here in the US. One time, I was visiting my cousins in Seoul and had an idea. There was a store in my cousin's neighborhood that sold really cool toys. I knew that many kids back in the US would want to buy them. So I bought 30 of the toys and brought them back to the US. The toys were very popular and I sold all of them in 1 week. I had an idea. I asked my cousins to buy 100 toys and send them in the mail. I sold them all in a few months. It was then I realized that I could make a lot of money buying things from one country and selling them in another. When I got older, I remembered that experience and set up a business between Korea and America. My company is called Korean American Import and Export. It has been a great success and a wonderful opportunity to do business with the two countries that I love.
Listen and practice.
Have you ever heard of Oprah Winfrey? She is one of the most successful and famous women celebrities of all time. Her story is an inspiration to us all. Today, she is worth billions of dollars, but Oprah certainly did not start out that way. Oprah started at the bottom, and she worked her way up to the top. She was born in 1954 in Mississippi to a poor family. She had a lot of problems growing up, including abuse at home. That didn't stop Oprah from becoming successful, though. She worked hard and got a job at a radio station when she was still in high school. People quickly noticed Oprah's ability to communicate and offered her a job as a news anchor. In just a few years, she was co-hosting a talk show. Then in 1986, she started her own TV talk show, The Oprah Winfrey Show. Her show is still on today, and it has become one of the most famous shows in television history.
Listen and practice.
Hey guys, my name is Danny, and I want to talk to you about bike safety. For years, my mother always told me to wear a helmet when I ride my bike, and for years, I never listened. That moment changed on July 22nd last year. It was 9 a.m., and I left my house to go to school on my bike. As usual, I did not wear a helmet. But when I was 5 minutes away from my house, I had a strange feeling that I should turn around and put on my helmet. So I did. I went home, put on my helmet, and continued to school. About 10 minutes later, I was crossing the road on my bike and was hit by a speeding motorcycle. I flew into the air and landed hard on my back and head. It hurt, but I was not seriously injured. At the hospital, the doctor said if I hadn't been wearing a helmet, it could have been fatal. It was one very lucky day. Ever since that day, I always wear my helmet. I suggest all of you do too.
Listen and practice.
Ice hockey is one of the most popular winter sports. It is very popular in cold weather countries like Canada, Russia, and the Czech Republic. In those countries, kids play ice hockey on frozen ponds and rivers. Things you need to play ice hockey are hockey skates, a hockey stick, and a puck. Ice hockey is a great winter sport.
Listen and practice.
Iqbal Masih was born in Pakistan in 1983. His family was very poor. When he was 4, they could not repay a debt, so they sold him instead. Iqbal had to work in a carpet shop. That's all he did, 14 hours a day, 6 days a week. One day, Iqbal learned this was illegal. He decided to escape, but the local police caught him and brought him back. It was illegal, but the shop owner paid the police, and they ignored the law. Iqbal tried again and again. Finally, he succeeded, and then helped other children do the same. He saved over 3,000 children this way. He began traveling around the world. He taught adults about the problem of child slavery. Tragically, Iqbal was shot and killed in 1995. The crime remains a mystery, but Iqbal's fight still goes on.
Listen and practice.
In 1968, Lena Maria Klingvall was born. She was a healthy Swedish baby with a beautiful smile. But she was a little different. Lena had no arms, and her one leg was much smaller than the other. This did not stop Lena. She learned to use her feet like hands. She learned to swim, too. She was good at it. In 1988, she went to the Paralympics in Seoul. She got 4th place. After that, Lena studied music in college. Then she began singing as a pro. She became popular at home and in Korea, Japan, and Thailand. Today, Lena is also an artist. She uses her feet to paint. Lena gives lectures about her challenges. She is also the subject of a movie. Lena is a good role model. She gives hope to many people.
Listen and practice.
Your body is an amazing machine. How does it work? Bones and muscles work together, like an arrow and a bow. Bones hold your body up. They're hard and don't bend like an arrow. Muscles make your body move and keep your balance. Muscles bend and stretch. Then they return to their old shape like a bow. Imagine a stretchy arrow and a bow that can't bend. That won't work. If you have no bones and muscles, what happens? Without bones, you fall down. You're like a jellyfish. Without muscles, you're a bag of bones. You can't balance. You're like a tree with no roots. The wind tips you over and you can't get up. Trees don't have things like muscles, so they can't move. Jellyfish have no bones, so they can't stand up.
Listen and practice.
The Sahara Desert is the hottest place in the world. It is in northern Africa and covers 11 countries. It is really hot there because it's near the equator. The desert is the same size as the United States. Only a few animals live there, like camels, goats, and vipers. And only a few plants can live there, like cactuses and olive trees. Not many people live there either, because there isn't enough water. There are even huge sand dunes as high as 180 meters. The average temperature in the Sahara Desert is over 30 degrees, but it can be as high as 50 degrees during the hot period.
Listen and practice.
Wind energy. Wind is moving air. To catch wind energy, people build wind turbines in windy places like high hills or near beaches. Wind turbines are tall and they have 3 or 4 blades at the top. The blades turn like a propeller when the wind blows on them. The blades then turn a generator inside the wind turbine to create electricity. When many wind turbines are built together to make a lot of electricity, this is called a wind farm. Winds are stronger when they are higher in the sky, so scientists are inventing wind energy machines that look like kites. They send electricity to Earth through long cables.
Listen and practice.
Energy from water. People can use the kinetic energy of moving water to make electricity. For example, water that moves down mountains moves very quickly, and so it has a lot of kinetic energy. In a hydroelectric power station, this water moves quickly into pipes, which push it through turbines. The water turns turbines that turn generators to make electricity. Some hydroelectric power stations are next to rivers. A large wall called a dam holds the water so it becomes a store of potential energy. When the water stored behind a dam is pushed through pipes and turbines, the potential energy is converted into kinetic energy that can be used to make electricity. The Hoover Dam is one of the biggest hydroelectric power stations in the USA. It makes electricity for about 1.3 million people.
Listen and practice.
We can all help to save energy. We can use fewer fossil fuels every day by changing some of the things that we do. For example, we can save oil by walking, riding bicycles, sharing rides to school, or traveling by bus instead of making all our journeys by car. This will also reduce the amount of air pollution and greenhouse gases that go into the air. We can use less electricity by turning off lights and electric machines when we aren't using them. In the future, there will be more people on Earth, and we will need more electricity and more energy for our vehicles. What will you do to help to save energy for the future?
Listen and practice.
Are you worried about what to buy your kid for his or her birthday? Then come over to Charlie's Sports Shop. We have all kinds of fun sports equipment. Motorized scooters, balking stilts, and luge boards, to name a few. If your kid loves exercising, I suggest balking stilts. Balking stilts are spring-loaded shoes that make you jump high like a kangaroo. If your kid is an adventurer, a luge board will do. A luge board is a type of high-speed skateboard you lie down on. If your kid is busy and has to get around to places fast, a motorized scooter would be a perfect present. They are gas-powered scooters that go really fast. Just remember, all these sports are a little risky, so don't forget to buy your kid a helmet too.
Listen and practice.
Look in your refrigerator. Where did all the food come from? Of course, it came from a farm or the ocean. You picked it up in the supermarket. But where was the farm? and which ocean? Most people don't know, but they should because their choices affect global warming. It's all about the distance your food travels. Transporting food burns fuel. The longer the distance, the more fuel it takes. Of course, burning fuel adds CO2 to the atmosphere. The CO2 traps heat from the sun, and that raises the Earth's temperatures. Scientists agree that this will cause environmental problems. Imported food uses the most fuel. Most of it travels by ship or airplane. Even food from your own country has to travel in trucks. The farther away it starts, the more fuel it uses. That's why many people look for locally grown food. Buying local food saves fuel. Also, it's fresher.
Listen and practice.
Hello, I'm your heart. You know what I do? I pump blood around the body. But how? Look inside. Here I am, inside the rib cage. I'm right between your lungs. That's important because the blood has two main jobs. One is taking oxygen to the rest of the body. The other is bringing carbon dioxide back. The lungs breathe in oxygen, and they breathe out carbon dioxide. Some blood comes from the lungs to me. That blood has oxygen in it. Some blood goes from me to the lungs. That has carbon dioxide, and the lungs get rid of it. Can you see the arteries and veins? Both are tubes that blood travels through. Arteries carry blood away from the heart. Veins carry blood back to the heart. I keep it all moving smoothly.
Listen and practice.
According to a survey conducted in over 20 countries, the most serious type of pollution in the world is now water pollution. Water pollution is a major cause of death worldwide, and at present, around 500 million people in the world do not have access to clean drinking water. So how can you help? There are many ways to help prevent it. One way is to reduce water use. We can do this by taking shorter showers. Second, throw away dangerous chemicals properly. That means do not put paint or car oil in the trash. Third, only buy from companies that have good environmental records. If polluting companies can't make money, they will have to change their ways.
Listen and practice.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is James Richardson, and I am from the Olympics Committee. The topic of my speech today is the differences between the Summer and Winter Olympics. I want to start by saying there are two kinds of Olympic Games: Summer Olympic Games and Winter Olympic Games. First, I will talk about the Summer Olympic Games.
Listen and practice.
A young woman without eyebrows is seated in front of a beautiful landscape. Does this sound familiar to you? This is one of the most famous works by Leonardo da Vinci. The Mona Lisa is a beautiful painting. However, it was the mystery behind the painting that intrigued people. Who was the woman, and why did da Vinci paint her? Different theories have been proposed about her identity. Many art and history buffs thought that it was a portrait of da Vinci himself, but as a woman. Others thought it was not any particular person, but the ideal of a woman. They say this is why she was painted with no eyebrows. This gave her face a more unearthly look. Still others thought that it was a portrait of an actual woman of the time, the wife of Francesco del Giocondo. In 2005, historian Armin Schlechter of Heidelberg discovered the answer. While looking through an old manuscript, he found a small note. In this, the woman in the Mona Lisa was positively identified as Lisa del Giocondo. The artist had been paid to do her portrait after the birth of her second child. Mona, in fact, means Madame in Italian. As for her unearthly look, historians say women of this time liked to remove their eyebrows. Apparently, they thought eyebrows were not attractive.
Listen and practice.
One of the best ways to relieve stress is to do breathing exercises. Breathing deeply helps to relax muscles and wake up the brain. A great way to relieve stress is to read a good book. Reading an interesting novel will help you forget about your problems. Getting up early helps reduce stress in people's lives. Early risers feel there is more time in the day to get things done. Exercise is one of the most effective stress relievers there is. Exercising releases endorphins in your brain that make you feel good and relax your body.
Listen and practice.
Well, my group was great, and I loved my host family. We were all American high school students, but we all came from different states, and we had different religions and cultures. We learned that we weren't really so different. We spent every day together for 4 weeks, and we learned that people are people. We became such good friends. More than friends, we were like a family. I loved my host family in Costa Rica. They were so warm and friendly. They became my family too. From the first day, I felt like I was their daughter. They called me Anna. They spoke only a little English, and at first, I didn't speak much Spanish. But I learned a lot of Spanish from them, and in my Spanish class too. And I also learned that language is not always so important. Well, sometimes a smile can say more than words. If you're in high school and you want to have a great summer, go on the experiment in international living. It was the best summer of my life. I'm sure it will be the best summer of your life too.
Listen and practice.
Good evening, children and parents. Thank you for coming today. My name is Dr. Carl Frist, and I am a psychologist. As you already know, the topic of tonight's speech is how to deal with conflicts at home. Everyone has small conflicts at home. That is normal. My goal is that you learn how best to deal with small conflicts before they turn into big fights. Big fights are bad and can damage family relationships. The key to dealing with any small conflict is communication. The reason is, the more we listen and talk to each other, the better we understand each other. And the better we understand each other, the less we fight. Think about the last time you got in a fight at home. It probably didn't help your problem. Fighting almost never solves problems, but listening to each other does. In conclusion, if you talk about the problems you are having openly and freely, you will probably be able to resolve them without fighting. And if you can do that, you will have a much better life.
Listen and practice.
When people get sick, they often get fevers. A fever is when your body temperature goes higher than normal. Throughout history, civilizations have looked for different ways to avoid and treat fevers. In the West, a lot of those remedies involved putting things on or near one's feet. I know it's weird, but it's true. In parts of Europe in the 17th century, people tried to avoid getting fevers by putting leaves in their shoes. Later, in the 18th century, people in England tried to reduce their fevers by putting salt in their socks. Then, in the 19th century, in the United States, people tried putting onions on their feet to reduce fever. Today, there are still people who believe putting stuff near one's feet cures fevers, but there is no scientific evidence that it does. That is why most doctors recommend taking medicine or a cold bath to reduce fever instead.
Listen and practice.
On July 30th, the Florida man robbed an apartment in the town of Hollywood only to encounter the apartment's tenant on his way out the door. Uh-oh, now she knows what I look like. I need to get out of here, Wade thought. So he ran out the door. As he was driving home, he realized that he had left his cell phone in the home he had robbed. Uh-oh. Now the cops have my fingerprints and lots of other information about me. I have to get that phone back. So he called his phone. Maybe he hoped that the person who answered would return the phone to him. Instead, the phone was answered by a detective who was in the house. The detective was investigating the robbery. Wade told the detective his name and said he needed his phone back. Instead, he was arrested, and the fingerprints from his phone were used to tie Wade to 5 other unsolved robberies. In court later that week, Wade told a judge that his phone had been stolen, but the judge didn't believe him.
Listen and practice.
Everybody dreams, but nobody is exactly sure why. An even greater mystery: what do our dreams actually mean? This is a question that people have been trying to answer for thousands of years. Today, scientists and doctors continue to study how our brain works and what it does while we are sleeping. Some people think that dreams can tell us about things that are happening in our everyday lives. Other people think dreams can predict what will happen in the future. Then, there are some people who think dreams mean nothing at all. They say dreams are just random old memories organized together by the brain to make a story. Today, scientists are looking for ways to collect useful information from dream experiments. So far, they have not been very successful, so we probably won't know the real reason for dreams anytime soon.
Listen and practice.
A dermatologist is a skin doctor. Dermatologists help people who have skin problems and can treat different skin diseases. People visit dermatologists if they get burned or have problems with zits. A dentist is a tooth doctor. Dentists help people keep their teeth clean and can treat tooth and gum disease. People visit dentists if they have cavities or a toothache. A pediatrician is a special doctor for children. Pediatricians help young children and can treat lots of different illnesses. Children go to pediatricians if they have the flu or a stomachache. An oncologist is a cancer doctor. Oncologists help diagnose and treat different types of cancer. People go to oncologists if they are worried they might have cancer.
Listen and practice.
My name is Sally, and my biggest weakness is I procrastinate. I always wait until the last minute to do everything. I will try to finish all my schoolwork at least one day in advance.
Listen and practice.
My name is Jimmy, and my biggest weakness is being lazy. I just lie around the house all day and don't get anything done. I will try to set at least 3 realistic goals every day to help get motivated.
Listen and practice.
My name is Gary, and my biggest weakness is being shy. It is really hard for me to meet new people. I will try and talk to one new person every day.
Listen and practice.
Hi, I'm Beth. My school is quite far from my house, so I take the subway to get there. I prefer to take the subway because I don't have to worry about getting caught in a traffic jam. It takes me about 20 minutes to get to school by subway.
Listen and practice.
One of the best ways to relieve stress is to do breathing exercises. Breathing deeply helps to relax muscles and wake up the brain. A great way to relieve stress is to read a good book. Reading an interesting novel will help you forget about your problems. Getting up early helps reduce stress in people's lives. Early risers feel there is more time in the day to get things done. Exercise is one of the most effective stress relievers there is. Exercising releases endorphins in your brain that make you feel good and relax your body.
Listen and practice.
In ancient Rome, there was a special wedding tradition where guests threw rice over the bride and groom. The rice was a symbol of fertility and abundance. In South Korea, there is a special wedding tradition where the groom gives a pair of wooden ducks to the bride on the night before the wedding. The ducks symbolize fidelity and a long, happy marriage. In the United States, there is a wedding tradition where the bride throws a bouquet of flowers to all her single girlfriends. The girl who catches the bouquet is supposed to be the next one to be married. In Spain, grooms give their brides a bag or box filled with 13 gold coins. The coins are a symbol of the groom's commitment to support and care for his bride.
Listen and practice.
All countries have different manners. In Bangladesh, women greet each other by nodding their heads instead of shaking hands. It is also considered offensive to give money as a gift there. When you go to a restaurant in the Philippines, always let whoever is buying order first. It is rude for a guest to order before the host. In Mexico, the color purple is regarded as a color for funerals, so people never give purple flowers as a gift.
Listen and practice.
Water pollution is often caused by chemicals released from factories and fertilizer used by farmers. The factory waste and fertilizer flows into nearby rivers and makes the water unsafe. Noise pollution is caused by a lot of things, but two major sources of noise pollution are construction sites and airports. The loud sounds cause people headaches and mental stress. Air pollution has gotten worse in many cities due to increases in car traffic. Most cars release toxic chemicals in the air that are harmful to breathe. Throwing away trash and waste that is not biodegradable, like plastics, causes soil pollution. Once the soil in an area becomes polluted, it cannot be used for agricultural purposes.
Listen and practice.
An earthquake is caused by a shake in the Earth's crust. The strongest earthquake ever recorded was 9.5 on the Richter magnitude scale. A tornado is a rotating column of air that stretches from a cloud to the ground. Some tornadoes have wind speeds of 480 kilometers per hour or higher. A tsunami is a series of giant water waves normally caused by an earthquake or volcanic eruption. The 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami was the deadliest in history. A drought is when an area goes for a long time without enough rain. The deadliest drought happened in India from 1876 to 1878. It killed over 25 million people.
Listen and practice.
Many animal lovers volunteer at animal shelters. They help take care of pets that have no home. Many students volunteer at libraries. They help organize books and teach others how to find the books they need. Lots of nature lovers volunteer at local parks. They help keep the parks clean by picking up trash. Some doctors and nurses volunteer at health clinics in developing countries. They give free medical care to people who don't have a lot of money.
Listen and practice.
Note-taking in class is a great study skill. It helps you organize the information you need to study. Highlighting key information is an effective study skill for reading comprehension. Highlighting helps students remember important information from the text. Using flashcards when studying for tests is very effective. It helps students learn and remember important words. Studying in groups with classmates is a great way to learn. It helps students save time and is lots of fun.
Listen and practice.
In Thailand, touching another person's head is considered very rude. The reason is heads are considered the most sacred part of the body in Thai culture. In Japan, people often sit on the floor when they eat. In Argentina, people usually greet each other with a light kiss on the cheek. This is true for men and women. In Ecuador, it is considered impolite not to bring a gift when invited to dinner at someone's house. The gift does not have to be anything expensive. Flowers, wine, or chocolates are considered good gifts.
Listen and practice.
Mrs. Stevens lived in a small village, and she had 5 children. She always had a lot of work. The children went to different schools, and Mrs. Stevens took them there in the morning in her car. Then she bought food at the village shop, and then she went home and cleaned the house, washed the clothes, and made cakes or other things. In the afternoon, she drove back to the children's schools and brought them home, and then she cooked their evening meal. Every evening she was very tired. One morning, she was in the village shop, and she saw a small notice there. It said, "I do cleaning for £1.50 an hour. Telephone Miss Joan Brown, 7508. Mrs. Stevens looked around the shop. "Nobody's looking," she said. "That's good." Then she took her pen out of her bag and wrote under the notice, "I do cleaning for nothing. Don't telephone me."
Listen and practice.
Vitamin B1 is found in whole wheat, fish, peanuts, beans, and meat. Vitamin B1 helps the body maintain healthy nerve and muscle function. Vitamin B1 can also help the heart work properly. Vitamin E is found in corn, nuts, seeds, olives, and spinach. Vitamin E helps the body maintain healthy skin. It also helps lower cholesterol, prevent aging, and fight diabetes. Vitamin C is found in many fresh fruits like oranges, lemons, limes, grapefruits, and mangoes. Vitamin C helps enhance the body's ability to fight infection. It can also help protect the body from getting cancer. Vitamin B12 is found in shellfish, meats, eggs, liver, and milk. Vitamin B12 helps the body maintain healthy brain and nerve function. It also helps the body have plenty of energy.
Listen and practice.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our seminar entitled Overcoming Weaknesses. For better or for worse, all of us were born with strengths and weaknesses. That is what makes us each special. The problem is our weaknesses can often get in the way of things we want. That is why I want to talk about ways to overcome weaknesses. Once you learn to overcome your weaknesses, you will be a more successful person. Now, the first step is to identify your weaknesses. The easiest way to do this is to take a personality test. You can easily find one online. Second, decide which weaknesses you really need to improve. Nobody needs to be good at everything. So if you can focus on the skills you need to improve, it will be a better use of your time. Third, make a plan on how you will improve your weaknesses. If you have trouble making friends, for example, make a plan to talk to 5 new people every week. Making a plan will guarantee you take action.
Listen and practice.
A lawyer is someone who is an expert of the law and represents people in court. Lawyers need to be good at dealing with people and be rational thinkers. Bill Clinton was a famous lawyer who went on to become President of the United States. A computer programmer is someone who writes computer programs and tests them. Computer programmers need to be creative and logical. Jerry Young is a famous computer programmer who helped start the popular internet search site yahoo.com.
Listen and practice.
A medical doctor is someone who works to help sick people feel better. Doctors need to be patient, sympathetic, and be able to remember a lot of information. Christian Barnard was a famous doctor who performed the world's first heart transplant. A television writer is someone who writes the words that characters say on TV. Television writers need to be creative, funny, and good at working under pressure. David Cohen is a famous TV writer who wrote for one of the most successful TV cartoons of all time, The Simpsons.
Listen and practice.
I get up at 5:15 every morning and go running. Then, after I have a shower and a quick breakfast, I take the subway to work. I usually do some work on the subway. I get to work at 7 in the morning, and I usually work until 8 at night. After I get home, I have dinner. Then I read the newspaper before bed. I usually go to bed about 11 o'clock.
Listen and practice.
I enjoy reading. I read a lot of books and I love going to the library. My dad likes outdoor things. He's really into sports and swimming, and he always tells me I should get more interested in sports. But Mom tells me that reading is the best way to learn. She always gives me books that she's been reading.
Listen and practice.
The age of adulthood. In the United States, 16, 18, and 21 are significant ages in a person's life. A person can do new things at each age to show that he or she is no longer a child. These are all part of the transition to adulthood. After turning 16 in the United States, a person can be employed, get a driver's license, and leave home. Many high school students learn to drive and get part-time jobs soon after celebrating their 16th birthday. At 18, people in the United States can vote in government elections and join the military, but they are prohibited from going into nightclubs, buying alcohol like beer or wine, or gambling until they are 21. In many Latin American countries, a young woman's 15th birthday is important. At this age, she is no longer considered to be a girl, but a woman. To mark this special day, families with 15-year-old daughters have a celebration called a quinceañera. The day begins with the young woman and her family going to church. Later, there is a party to which many guests are invited. In Japan, boys and girls are considered to be adults at the age of 20. At this age, they are allowed to vote and drink alcohol. The second Monday in January is a national holiday called Coming of Age Day. On this day, 20-year-olds celebrate by first going to a shrine with their families. Later, they listen to speeches given by city and school leaders. After that, many celebrate with family and friends late into the night. In many countries, celebrations do not stop at adulthood. People like to celebrate what they consider to be important ages, such as their 50th or 60th birthdays, or significant events such as the birth of their first child or their retirement.
Listen and practice.
I have a routine that I follow every morning when I get up. First, I brush my teeth. Then I take a long, hot shower. I wash my hair every morning, but I don't use conditioner because my hair is very short. It only takes me about 5 minutes to blow dry my hair. Next, I put lotion on my face because my skin is dry. I apply face powder and a little blush. I don't use any eye makeup in the morning. Then I put on some deodorant and get dressed. After I get dressed, I brush my hair, put on some lipstick, and leave for work.
Listen and practice.
I arrived at Gosforth Hall late in the evening. I don't believe in ghosts, but yes, I felt a little nervous. I checked in, and the front desk clerk gave me the key and showed me to my room. I left my things in the room and came downstairs. There weren't many other guests in the hotel. There were only 3. I sat in the lounge and I talked to the manager, Sarah Daniels, about her hotel. Then I had a drink, and at 12 o'clock, I went upstairs to my room. Room 11 was on the top floor. I opened the door and turned on the light. It was a very big room, very old, and yes, it was a little spooky. There was an old TV on a table, but there wasn't a remote control. I turned on the TV. There was a movie on. I was happy to see that it wasn't a horror movie. I decided to watch the movie, but I was tired after my long trip, and after half an hour, I went to sleep. In the middle of the night, I suddenly woke up. I looked at my watch. It was 2 o'clock in the morning. The TV was off. But how? There was no remote control, and I didn't get up and turn it off. The light was on, but suddenly, the light went off too. Now I was scared. I couldn't see anything strange, but I could feel that there was somebody or something in the room. I got out of bed and turned on the light and TV again. Little by little, I started to relax, and I went to sleep again. When I woke up, it was morning. I had breakfast and checked out. I left the hotel about 10 o'clock. I didn't see the ghost, but I definitely felt something or somebody in the room when I woke up in the night. I'm sure there was something strange in that room. I can't explain the television and the light. I want to go back because I want to see the ghost.
Listen and practice.
Diana Nyad grew up in South Florida, near the ocean. When she was only 8 years old, she decided to be the first person to swim from Cuba to Florida, a distance of 103 miles, 166 kilometers. Diana joined her school swim team in 5th grade. After her coach watched her for 15 minutes, he said, "Kid, one day, you're going to be the best swimmer in the world." He was right. Diana Nyad became an amazing swimmer, and she set many world records. From 1969 to 1979, she was the best long-distance swimmer in the world. At age 28, Diana tried to reach her childhood goal for the first time. She started swimming from Cuba to Florida. Unfortunately, after 42 hours, the weather became very bad. There was a lot of rain and wind. Diana saw that it was impossible to reach Florida, so she had to stop. 1 year later, Diana set a new record. She swam the longest distance of any swimmer, man or woman, in history, 102.5 miles, 164 kilometers, from the Bahamas to Florida. Then, Diana Nyad did not swim again for 30 years. For 30 years, Nayad worked as a TV and radio sports reporter. She was very successful, but as she got older, she wasn't happy. She felt that she needed a new challenge in her life. That's when she started thinking again about her old dream. She decided to swim from Cuba to Florida again. At the age of 60, Diana began the very difficult training. For more than a year, she swam 8 to 14 hours every day. When people asked Diana why she wanted to try the difficult swim again, she just said, "It is never too late to start your dream." The ocean between Cuba and Florida is full of dangerous jellyfish and sharks. But Diana was determined to swim without a shark cage to protect her. Over the next 4 years, Diana started the swim from Cuba to Florida 3 times, but unfortunately, each time the jellyfish bites and very bad weather stopped her. After the 4th time, Diana thought, maybe it's impossible to reach my goal. But a few days later, she changed her mind. On August 31st, 2013, 11 days after her 64th birthday, Diana Nayad jumped into the ocean near Cuba and began to swim to Florida again.
Listen and practice.
Hi, my name is Eric, and I'm a paramedic. I work the night shift, so my schedule is different from most people's. I get up at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and eat a small breakfast. Then I go to the gym and work out for an hour. I take a shower at the gym. I go home and do my homework because I'm taking computer programming classes. Then I make a big dinner and I eat at about 8 o'clock at night. After dinner, I watch TV for an hour or two. Then I get dressed for work. I go to work at 10:15 and I work from 11 o'clock to 7 o'clock in the morning. I go to bed at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Listen and practice.
I went to the mall this morning. First, I went to the beauty salon and got my hair cut. Then I went to a clothing store and I bought a blue sweater. After that, I stopped at the toy store. It's my son's birthday, so I bought him a video game. Next, I went to the bookstore and I found a good mystery. I like to read mysteries. Then I went to the pet store. I have 10 tropical fish, and I need fish food. I stopped at the jewelry store, and I looked for a pair of earrings, but I didn't see anything that I liked. My last stop at the mall was the bakery, where I bought a birthday cake for my son. Then, on my way home, I stopped at a flea market, and I found a small lamp for the night table in my bedroom.
Listen and practice.
I arrived in the city on Friday. I took a taxi from the airport to my hotel and I checked in. Then I stopped at the tourist information booth. I wanted a map of the city and a bus schedule. They gave me lots of information. I sat down at a cafe, ordered a cup of coffee, and looked at the map and the information about the city. Next, I stopped at the bank and used my ATM card to get some extra cash. I also stopped at the travel agency to check on my car rental for the weekend. I spent the rest of the afternoon in the art museum.
Listen and practice.
My mornings are very busy. I'm a working mother with a 1-year-old baby. His name is Ricky. He wakes up at 6:30. He's usually wet, so as soon as he wakes up, I change his diaper. Of course, he's hungry, so I give him a bottle. Then I put him in his high chair and I feed him breakfast. After breakfast, I put Ricky in his playpen and he plays with his toys. While he plays, I pack his bag for the daycare center. He needs diapers, 4 bottles with formula, baby food, and, of course, his pacifier. I don't pack baby wipes, lotion, or powder because the daycare center has them.
Listen and practice.
I've had a busy day. The house was a mess. This morning, I cleaned the bedroom and changed the sheets. I did the laundry. I washed the clothes and folded them and put everything away. Then I cleaned the bathroom. I scrubbed the toilet, cleaned the sink, and mopped the floor. I wanted to clean the kitchen and cook, but I'm too tired. I think we'll go out for dinner tonight. I'll clean the kitchen tomorrow.
Listen and practice.
I had a lot of plans for today. This morning, I paid the bills. I emptied the waste baskets in the house and took out the trash. I wanted to wash the car and mow the lawn, but I couldn't because it was raining. So, I watched a soccer game on TV. After the game, I vacuumed the carpets and polished the furniture.
Listen and practice.
Can employees learn to be more creative? Many business owners say yes. Big companies like American Express, Microsoft, FedEx Office, and Disney want their employees to be creative, to think in new and interesting ways. These companies pay billions of dollars for creativity classes for their employees. In some creativity classes, employees play games together in a classroom. In other classes, they do exciting sports together outside. For example, at the Playtime Company, a successful advertising company, employees go whitewater rafting and rock climbing together. All of these activities help employees to think in new ways. In creativity classes, teachers also give employees important advice. Relax. When people relax, they can think better. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. No one is perfect. Just try to do your best. Great ideas sometimes come from mistakes. Think young. Children are very creative, so sometimes we need to think like children. When employees have creative ideas, companies become more successful. One successful business owner said, "One creativity class helped my employees more than many years of work experience." Many other big business owners agree. Creativity classes are helping their companies.
Listen and practice.
Little Molly goes to bed, but she cannot fall asleep. She sits up. She lies down again. Still, she cannot sleep. It is not fun at all. Molly wants to sleep. What can she do? Mommy teaches Molly a trick. It will help her fall asleep. It is fun and easy. What is it? Counting sheep. Close your eyes and try it. Imagine a small wall, not too high and not too low, just right for sheep to jump over. Now, imagine a flock of sheep. How many are there? Let's count them. Count the sheep as they jump over the wall. 1 sheep, 2 sheep, 3 sheep, 4. Molly begins to count the sheep. 10, 11, 12. Keep your eyes closed. Keep counting, Molly. Watch the sheep and count. 100, 101, 102. Count. What's that sound? It's the sound of Molly sleeping.
Listen and practice.
Sometimes it is fun being tall. Sometimes it is not. Sure, I can always reach things for my mom, dad, sister, or teacher. But sometimes I would rather be short. I am always the tallest one in pictures. Sometimes I wish people didn't notice me as much. Another boy, John, is the shortest kid in our class. He told me that he wished people didn't notice him as much either. We became friends because we feel the same in a strange way. When we play basketball together, people say, "It's a lot of fun to watch a game with the school's tallest and shortest boys on the same team." It's true, you know. You can't be too tall or too short. It's just the way you are.
Listen and practice.
Kenny was going on an adventure. Where was he going? He was going to the grocery store. He was going to get some groceries all by himself. Kenny's mom gave him a list and some money. You need to get bread, milk, and butter, she told him. And be sure to use the crosswalk and to look both ways when crossing the street. Kenny walked to the crosswalk. He looked both ways carefully. Then he looked again, just to be sure there were no cars coming. Finally, he crossed the street and went into the store. Kenny gave the grocery list to the clerk. "I want bread, milk, and butter," he told the clerk. "Here is the money." The clerk put the things in a bag and handed it to Kenny with some change. Kenny was excited. He walked back safely and made his way home. He had had a wonderful adventure.
Listen and practice.
Our teacher asked us to write a paper. I want everyone to write a paper for me, said the teacher. In the paper, tell me what you want to be when you grow up. I want to work in a store and sell things, said Bill. I want to coach a baseball team, cried Sam. I want to be a writer and write books for people to read, said Cheryl. I want to be a fireman, said Jerry, and maybe a policeman too. All of the children were excited. All except Joey. I can't make up my mind, he said. I want to be a lot of different things. The teacher smiled. Then, that's what you should write, she told him. Write about all the things you want to be. One day, you'll know which one to choose. For right now, wanting to be a lot of things is just right.
Listen and practice.
That is the sound of your heart beating. What an amazing muscle! It works all day. It works all night. Your heart pumps blood to all the parts of your body. It pumps blood to your head, your fingers, and your feet. And it weighs only about half a kilogram. But it's a very strong muscle. It beats 100,000 times a day. That's 35 million times a year. Wow! In your lifetime, your heart will beat about 2.5 billion times. You know what else is really amazing? Your heart does all of this without you even giving it a thought. It just keeps working. Most hearts beat about 70 times every minute. See for yourself. Put your hand on your wrist. Feel your heart beating. Now, count how many times it beats in a minute. Take care of your heart. Eat well, sleep well, and get lots of exercise. That way, your heart will be strong and keep on beating.
Listen and practice.
My grandpa always says, "The world is a beautiful place if you just open your eyes." Now, I know what he means. One time, my friend's family invited me to go with them for a balloon ride. We all got in the basket. Then we started to lift off the ground. I got scared and closed my eyes. When I opened one eye, I saw the trees below us. I quickly shut my eyes again. Suddenly, my friend yelled, "Look!" A huge flock of geese was flying right by us. For a while, we blew right along with them. It was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen. It was an amazing sight. Just imagine. All I had to do was open my eyes. Good advice, Grandpa.
Listen and practice.
It was a day Tony would never forget. He was playing with his friends in the yard. All of a sudden, there was a strange noise. Then, everything started to shake. Tony saw that his house was moving. Dogs were barking. Chickens were running around in fear. A horse was standing upright on its back legs. What was it? Tony had no idea. Some of the kids fell down, and others were trying to keep from falling. A woman ran outside and shouted, "Hurry! It's an earthquake! Get away from the building!" Tony was so scared that he couldn't move. The woman grabbed him and led him away from the building. It was his first earthquake. Tony was shocked to learn that the ground he stood on every day could shake. That shaking could hurt a lot of people.
Listen and practice.
Amy is not happy. She cannot find her favorite pen. She looks all over the house. She looks under the bed. She looks in her desk. She looks in the kitchen and in her book bag, but she cannot find it. Amy is really upset. Amy wants to cry. She cries to her mother, "Mom, my pen is lost." Mom says, "Don't cry. I will help you look for it." When Mom goes downstairs, she laughs. "Why are you laughing, Mom?" Mom says, "Check behind your ear." And as Amy checks her ear, she finds her pen. She had put it there earlier. Now she is happy.
Listen and practice.
Joey has a pet. Her name is Goldie. She lives in a bowl. Goldie is a fish, a shiny goldfish. Once a week, Joey takes Goldie out of her bowl. He cleans her bowl so she can grow strong and healthy. When Joey's parents gave him Goldie, they said, "You will have to learn to take care of her." So, Joey started learning a lot about fish. Joey used to think fish did not breathe. How can they breathe in the water, he thought. When I swim, I cannot breathe if I put my head under the water. But fish get air in a different way. They have gills on the sides of their heads. Joey learned that water has oxygen in it. The water passes through the gills. The fish get their oxygen from the water. When Joey cleans the fish bowl, he puts Goldie in a small glass of water. That way, she can breathe while he cleans her home.
Listen and practice.
The day had come. Grandma was moving out of her big house. I was sad. I had a lot of memories in that house. I asked where Grandma was moving to. My dad just said, "Somewhere nearby. Don't worry." But I was worried. I spent a lot of time with Grandma. I could tell that no one wanted to tell me because they knew I would be sad. It must be far away, I thought to myself. We got all of Grandma's things in the truck. I sat beside her in the car. We talked the whole time. After a while, the truck stopped. I looked out to see her new home. It was our house. Grandma was coming to live with us.
Listen and practice.
Billy is 6 years old. He visits his uncle and aunt every summer. They live on a farm. They have cows, chickens, sheep, and a big horse on the farm. Billy loves all the animals. This summer, he is going to learn how to milk a cow. Wow! His friends cannot believe it. We get our milk from the store, they say, but our friend is going to get it from a cow. Billy laughs. Milk does not come from the store, he says. Milk comes from a cow. His friends do not believe him, but his teacher says, yes, milk comes from cows. Cows eat grass. They change the grass into milk. The farmer sells the milk, and we buy it in the stores. The teacher tells them one more thing. Did you know that cows have 4 stomachs? The kids are surprised, but it's true.
Listen and practice.
One day, Turtle lost his footing and rolled down a river bank. He landed belly up on his shell. The river bank was very muddy, and Turtle was stuck. "Help! Help!" called Turtle. Cat came strolling by. "What's wrong?" asked the cat. "I'm stuck. Can you roll me over?" asked Turtle. Cat pushed Turtle over onto his belly. Turtle swam away and said, "Thanks, Cat. I'll remember this." Not long after, Cat was chasing a squirrel on a tree. Snap! The tree branch cracked and fell. Cat landed on a large rock in the middle of the river. "Help! Help!" called Cat. Turtle came swimming by. "What's wrong?" asked Turtle. "I can't swim. Can you carry me to land?" asked Cat. "Sure," said Turtle. "Climb onto my back." Cat rode to safety on the back of her new friend, Turtle.
Listen and practice.
You do it all the time. If you stopped doing it, you would be in trouble. What is it? It's breathing. Everyone needs air. We breathe without even thinking about it. It's automatic. But how do we do it? Well, put your hand on your chest. Take a deep breath of air. Do you feel your chest getting bigger? Now let the air out. Feel how small it gets? Inside your chest are two large sacs. They're like big balloons. They are your lungs. When you breathe in, your lungs fill up with air. Breathe out, and the air goes out too. Most people take 22,000 breaths of air each day. Your lungs work really hard. That's why you should take good care of your lungs. Do not smoke. Get exercise and breathe deeply. One more thing. When you yawn, it means you're not getting enough air. Your lungs are telling you to take another big breath.
Listen and practice.
It's always fun to learn about words. Sometimes, if we know where a word comes from, it is easier to understand its meaning. Take the word panic, for example. This popular English word comes from the Greek language. Many English words are based on this ancient language. Pan was the Greek god of shepherds. He was half man, half animal. He liked to hunt and play music. He liked to walk through the woods playing his special flute. He often frightened people with his strange appearance. When people met him, they were so fearful that they did not know what to do. They were in a panic. This is the origin of the word panic. A person in a panic is frightened and confused. Often, people in a panic do foolish things.
Listen and practice.
An old lady lives on our street. She is very rich. One day, I saw her bending down, trying to pick something up off the ground. She was having a hard time. So I came over and asked if I could help. She told me there was a penny on the ground. I wondered why a rich lady was worried about a penny. "Oh, I don't need it," she said, "but it is good luck to find a penny." I gave her the penny and walked away. Just then, the old lady called me back. She put the coin in my shirt pocket and said, "It will bring you extra good luck because you helped me." At home, I pulled out the coin. I was surprised. She hadn't given me the penny. She had given me a dollar coin.
Listen and practice.
One day, when I walked into the kitchen, I saw my mom crying. "Mommy, what happened? Why are you sad?" I asked. Mom smiled at me. "I have tears in my eyes," she said, "but I am not sad. I am cutting onions, as you can see," Mom said. Onions have a strong chemical that hurts our eyes. But don't worry, our body is amazing. It senses the danger of this chemical and sends tears to our eyes to get rid of it. Tears protect our eyes from danger. That is interesting. I learned something else too. All animals cry to protect their eyes. But humans are the only animals that cry when they are sad. I love learning about my body. It all seems to work perfectly. The more I learn about it, the more amazed I am.
Listen and practice.
Little Freddie was having trouble in school. His mom was worried. So she took Freddie to see a doctor. Dr. Adams gave him an eye test. He told Freddie that he did not see as well as the other kids. "Your eyes are weak," said Dr. Adams. "You have trouble seeing what the teacher writes on the board. That's why you need to get eyeglasses." "Oh no!" Freddie cried. "I don't want to wear glasses. The kids will make fun of me." His mom said, "Don't you want to do better in school?" The doctor said, "You have a problem with your eyesight. Wearing glasses will help prevent it from getting worse. Some people can even go blind if they don't take care of this problem. I'm sure your friends will understand." That night, Freddie decided that it was better to wear glasses than to grow up and become blind.
Listen and practice.
An old lady lives on our street. She is very rich. One day, I saw her bending down, trying to pick something up off the ground. She was having a hard time. So I came over and asked if I could help. She told me there was a penny on the ground. I wondered why a rich lady was worried about a penny. "Oh, I don't need it," she said, "but it is good luck to find a penny." I gave her the penny and walked away. Just then, the old lady called me back. She put the coin in my shirt pocket and said, "It will bring you extra good luck because you helped me." At home, I pulled out the coin. I was surprised. She hadn't given me the penny. She had given me a dollar coin.
Listen and practice.
There once was a man who was very lazy. Every day, a farmer would tell the man, "If you help me bring in my crops, I will give you food." But the lazy man would always answer, "Maybe tomorrow." The summer turned to winter. One day, the lazy man did not have any food left. So he went to the farmer and knocked on his door. He asked, "Can I work for some food today?" The farmer said, "I'm sorry, there's no more work to be done." The man walked away. He sat by the side of the road. He was really hungry. Later, the farmer came up to him and said, "If you help me cut wood, I'll give you some food." Then the farmer smiled and said, "Or would you like to wait until tomorrow?" The man jumped up and started to work immediately.
Listen and practice.
Mahatma Gandhi was a simple man who did great things. He led his country to independence, and the way he did it was amazing. He did not believe in violence. He did not believe in fighting or in wars. He believed in talking things out. The Indian people agreed with him. In 1947, India became a free country. Gandhi lived a poor life by choice. He was a well-educated lawyer. He earned a good salary. But he saw the poor people around him and decided to help them. He learned how to live in the simplest way possible and still be healthy. He ate mostly fruit, goat's milk, and olive oil. He wore only a simple rag as clothing. But people followed him. They could see that he was honest. Gandhi spoke his native language. He also learned English. But he spoke English with an Irish accent. Why? His first English teacher was Irish.
Listen and practice.
My name is Leo. My family is from the Ojibwe tribe. At first, I didn't think this was special. But that was before I learned how interesting my people are. We lived in North America long before anyone else. Some people think we might have come from Asia thousands of years ago. In those days, my people lived off the land. We never did anything that would cause pollution. We respected the earth. We respected each other. We never wasted anything either. The water, the trees, and the land were very special to us. Today, the whole world thinks about these things, but we have always been like this. I am proud of the history of the native people. I am also proud to be a Canadian.
Listen and practice.
Jan loves animals. He wants a pet. There is only one problem. His family lives in a very small apartment. He begs his parents to let him have a puppy. But his father says, "A puppy is small, but puppies grow into big dogs. We have no space for a dog." So, Jan asks for a kitten. His mom looks at her son. She wants him to have a pet, but the apartment is so small. "We cannot get a kitten either," she says. "Kittens become cats, and cats are big." Jan is sad, but he understands. Then, one day, he comes home from school and sees something on his table. It's a bowl filled with water. Inside is a pretty little goldfish. It is swimming around and around. Jan laughs with joy. Now, Jan has a pet. He calls his goldfish Goldie. Goldie is his very best friend.
Listen and practice.
Today in school, we learned something amazing. Nearly 2,500 people in Canada go blind each year because they injure their eyes. Our eyes weigh only 28 grams, but they are really important. Imagine what it would be like if you could not see. Luckily, our bodies are designed to protect our eyes. Our eyebrows keep salty sweat from running into our eyes. Our eyelashes keep dirt from getting into our eyes. And tears wash away any dirt that gets past our eyelashes. Want to hear something amazing? We blink our eyes 10 million times a year. Each time we blink, a little water enters our eyes and washes dust and dirt away. Did you know that you cannot sneeze with your eyes open? It's true. Next time you feel a sneeze coming, see if you can keep your eyes open while you sneeze. You won't be able to.
Listen and practice.
When I was a little girl, I was afraid of the wind. It made lots of noise and made everyone feel cold. I don't like wind, I told my father. Father smiled. One day, as the wind was blowing strongly, I cried, "Look at the trees! They are all bent. I think it's trees that cause wind. Let's cut down all the trees. Then there will be no more wind." Father laughed. He told me that trees don't create wind. Instead, trees slow down the wind. But where does the wind come from? I asked. It comes from the air. Moving air is wind. Air and wind are part of the natural world, explained my father. Without wind, the hot areas would be too hot, and the cold areas would be too cold. It would be a big problem for our world. I still get nervous when a strong wind blows, but I always remember the way my father took the time to explain it to me.
Listen and practice.
Little Henry really likes fishing. He and his dad spend a lot of time fishing on the river. Most times, Henry catches fish and throws them back into the river. Sometimes he has a competition with Dad to see who can catch the biggest fish. It is Saturday again, Henry sits on the riverbank for almost an hour. Still, no fish bite. His dad smiles and says, "Fishing is a sport. It exercises your patience." No problem. Henry loves fishing, even when he is not catching fish. He enjoys the river. He loves watching the birds on the water. Suddenly, Henry feels something. He feels a tug at the end of the fishing rod. "Dad, it's a big one!" Henry cries. His dad comes to help. Henry pulls and pulls. In his mind, he imagines a huge fish. Finally, he brings it out of the water. But it is not a fish. It's a turtle.
Listen and practice.
Mr. Tan is 70 years old. He lives in a village in Vietnam. He worked hard all his life as a rice farmer, but now he is retired. He spends his days enjoying his old age. There is one thing you should know about Mr. Tan. Mr. Tan never went to school. When he was a boy, he had to go to work. Now Mr. Tan has a dream. He wants to learn to read. He wants to read to his grandchildren. Last year, a new teacher came to the school in his village. The teacher opened a night class to teach adults to read. Of course, Mr. Tan signed up right away. Now he goes to school 2 nights a week. It is not easy, but already he can read more than 500 words. Mr. Tan is dreaming about the day he will be able to read to his grandchildren. It makes him very happy to think about it.
Listen and practice.
Becky loves to win. She wants to be the first in everything. One day, we were out biking. Becky was in front. It bothered me that my friend always had to be in charge. I felt angry. I started to pedal faster, and I passed her. Soon, she passed me again. When we reached a corner, I ran right into Becky. We both went flying and landed on the grass. I hurt my knee, and Becky's elbow was badly bruised. Our parents took us to the hospital. I felt terrible. I wanted to win so much that I cut across the lawn and we collided, I said. "It's my fault," Becky said. "Instead of letting you pass, I had to win. I'm sorry." I gave my best friend a hug. We had both grown up a little that day, but it was a painful lesson.
Listen and practice.
My grandma was coming for a visit on her birthday. What was so special about that? Grandma was turning 100 years old, but even more amazing, she was traveling by airplane. Mom says flying is not easy. What if Grandma got lost at the airport? What if she got sick on the plane? Many things could go wrong. We were nervous. We went to the airport early. Then we saw her. Grandma was with the pilot. He was smiling. Grandma waved. I ran to give her a hug. The pilot said, "When I heard she was coming to celebrate her 100th birthday, I knew how lucky I was. She is the oldest passenger I have ever had fly on my plane." I gave Grandma a big kiss. She smiled and said, "On my 101st birthday, maybe I will dive in the ocean." We all laughed. Grandma is not afraid of anything.
Listen and practice.
Mr. Slow and Mr. Fast are friends, but they are not the same. Mr. Slow always takes his time. He talks slowly, he walks slowly. He even takes a long time to eat. Mr. Slow is really slow. Mr. Fast is the opposite. He is always in a hurry. He talks fast, he walks fast, he even rushes when he eats. Mr. Fast is really fast. One day, the two men went to a restaurant. As usual, Mr. Fast ordered his food right away. Mr. Slow took a long time to decide what he wanted. Mr. Fast finished eating before Mr. Slow even got his meal. Still, Mr. Fast waited for his friend. "Take your time," he said quickly. "You are slow like a turtle. I am fast like a rabbit. But I can wait because you are my friend."
Listen and practice.
There are many kinds of hair. There is long hair and short hair. There is straight hair and curly hair. Some people have black or brown hair. Other people have red or blonde hair. Some people lose their hair when they get old. Other people's hair turns gray. It usually takes many years for a person's hair to turn gray. But something strange happened to my father. His hair was black when he went to bed. By morning, it had turned completely gray. Why? Dad had been feeling very stressed lately. He had lost his job. He was worried about his family. He was worried about paying the bills. He was worried about feeding us. He was worrying all the time. The doctor said that what happened to my dad does not happen often, but it does happen. Worry and stress are very bad. They can turn hair gray overnight.
Listen and practice.
Irene doesn't like it when her mother goes to work. Every day she begs her mom to stay home. Can you please stay home? Can you pick me up from school? Please, Mom. But her mother always says, "No, honey, I need to work." Irene doesn't understand. "Why?" she asks. Mom explains it to her. "We need money to pay for our food, house, car, books, and toys." I go to work to make money for us. Irene quickly replies, "No, Mom. When you need money, you just go to the bank to get it." Then she adds, "I saw that the other day." Mom laughs and says, "Yes, I can go to the bank to get money, but that's only possible once I have earned the money and put it in a bank account."
Listen and practice.
Jimmy is crying. He doesn't want to get his hair cut. He is afraid. It is his first time going to a barber. He does not like the sounds in a barber shop. There are many strange smells, too. Mr. Howard, the barber, smiles. "Hello, Jimmy," he says. "So, this is your first haircut. I will take good care of you." He begins to cut. Jimmy closes his eyes. "Please don't cut my ear," he cries. As he works, the barber talks to Jimmy. "Do you know that people who have red hair like you have only 90,000 hairs on their head? People who have black hair have more than 110,000 hairs." That is interesting, thinks Jimmy. The average hair lives about 5.5 years, and we lose about 100 hairs a day, says Mr. Howard. Jimmy likes the barber. In no time at all, the barber says, "You can open your eyes now." Jimmy cannot believe it. It didn't hurt. It was fun. And he learned something interesting about hair.
Listen and practice.
Every year, we have a race at school to see who can run the fastest. And every year, my friend Jim wins. This year, I decided to work very hard to beat Jim. I trained very hard and ran every day. Finally, the day of the race came. Everyone got ready at the start line. Then the gun went off with a bang. I was in the lead, but I could tell Jim was catching up fast. Soon we were running together. It was the last turn before the finish line. We ran side by side. It was fun. We did not care who won anymore. We could always share the prize. We were having so much fun that we did not notice that another boy had passed us both. Ron zipped by at the very last second. In the end, Jim and I shared second place.
Listen and practice.
We boil the egg. When it has cooled, Mom hits the shell with a spoon. The shell doesn't break. It protects the inside of the egg. She says, "Your teeth have a shell too. It is called enamel." Now, the fun part. We fill the jar with vinegar. Then we put the egg inside and close the jar with a lid. Now we wait. What will happen? It is exciting. 2 days later, we open the jar. The eggshell has become really soft. It is breaking into small pieces. Wow! What is that about? The vinegar is a strong acid, just like many foods we eat, Mom says. The vinegar softens the eggshell so it cannot protect what is inside anymore. Mom smiles at me and says, "That is why you must brush your teeth. Brushing cleans the acid off from them. If you do not brush, the acid will break the enamel. You will have many cavities and toothaches after." There is one thing that I really, really hate doing. What is it? Brushing my teeth. I just don't see the reason for all this brushing. Mom is always making sure I brush in the morning, and I brush my teeth before bed, too. Why? That's what I want to know. Mom is a science teacher. She likes experiments. She says showing is always better than telling. So we make a deal. First, Mom has to prove that it is really important to brush teeth at least twice a day. If she does, I will brush my teeth without any complaining. "Okay," says Mom, "here is what we need for this experiment. We need a boiled egg. We need a small jar. We need some vinegar. Vinegar is sour and really strong. I think this will be interesting. I can hardly wait to see what Mom is going to do."
Listen and practice.
Look at the sky. But do not look at the sun. The sun is very strong. Its light is so powerful that it can hurt your eyes. Do you know how far the sun is from the Earth? It's about 150 million kilometers away. Wow, that's really far. Even though the sun is far away, the light is still very strong when it reaches us. So the sun is one of the most powerful things in our world. Do not be afraid of the sun. It is an important friend. It keeps us warm. It gives us light so we can see. It makes flowers and trees grow. There can be no life on Earth without the sun. That is why we call it our friendly sun. It is our friend because it gives us many things. But be careful. It is a very powerful friend.
Listen and practice.
Little Irene drew an interesting picture. The picture was of a mother and a daughter sitting at a table in front of a house. Mom asked, "Who are they?" "It's me and you," said the little girl. Dad saw the picture. He wasn't very happy. He asked, "Where is the daddy? Why am I not in the picture?" "Daddy is reading books inside the house. He is not playing with us." What Irene said was true. Her dad was busy studying to become a doctor. He spent all his time reading books. He was so busy that he didn't have time to sit outside with them. Irene's mom pointed out, "See, that's how your daughter will remember you. If you keep busy like this all the time, you won't be in any of her childhood pictures." From that day on, Irene's dad started going out more often with his daughter and wife.
Listen and practice.
My brother is the oldest among the 6 children in our family. He is smart, but he had to drop out of school at the age of 12 to help our parents. There are too many mouths to feed. Late fall was the season for harvesting. My brother took me to the field where the sweet potatoes had just been harvested. We got up early to look for any sweet potatoes that had been left in the field. With a heavy shovel, my brother started digging. My job was to watch the ground to see if any sweet potatoes appeared. It was still a little dark. My eyes opened wide while my brother dug in the soil. "Wait! I saw one!" I yelled. My brother stopped digging. I picked up the sweet potato and put it in a basket. We were so happy. We felt like we had found a gold mine. An hour later, when other people had come to the field, our basket was filled with sweet potatoes.
Listen and practice.
"Hi, Mr. Green," Sally waved to the old man sitting on his front porch. "Don't say hi to him. He's mean," whispered her friend Josh. "He's not mean. He's just sad." "Sad about what?" "His wife went away. That made him sad." That night, Sally decided to draw a picture for her neighbor. She drew herself and Mr. Green sitting on his porch drinking lemonade. She drew big smiles on their faces and a bright sun in the sky. The next day, Sally gave Mr. Green the picture. He looked like he was going to cry. Sally felt bad. "I just wanted to see you smile again," she said shyly. Mr. Green looked up from the picture. "Would you like some lemonade, Sally?" he asked. "Yes, I would. Thank you." As Sally and Mr. Green sat on his porch enjoying their lemonade, mean Mr. Green was smiling again.
Listen and practice.
One morning, Becky's father said, "There is a mouse in the kitchen. It is eating our food. We must get rid of it." Becky felt sorry for the mouse. "What will you do? Will you kill the mouse?" she asked. "No," replied her father. "We will set a special trap. When the mouse goes inside, it will not be able to get back out. Then we will take it to a field. It can live there with other mice." That made Becky happy. The next day, she looked at the mouse trap. There was a little gray mouse inside. It looked very frightened. Becky and her father took the mouse to a big field. Her father put the trap on the ground. The mouse ran into the field.
Listen and practice.
Eddie and Casey did not like eating vegetables. They liked meat and fish. They liked rice and bread. They even liked apples, grapes, and bananas. But they did not like vegetables. One day, their mom told them a story. Long ago, the native people in Canada grew 3 special vegetables. They planted corn, beans, and pumpkins very close to each other in the garden. The corn grew strong and tall. The beans climbed up the big, strong corn stems. The pumpkins made big leaves as they grew. The leaves kept the ground cool and wet. The 3 vegetables helped each other. They were like 3 sisters in a family. That is why the native people call these vegetables the 3 sisters. They are very special. Little kids grow big and strong by eating corn, beans, and pumpkins. Now, Eddie and Casey eat their vegetables every day.
Listen and practice.
Bess was very upset. She hurt her arm in the backyard. She cried a lot. Her mom cleaned the cut and put a bandage on it. Her aunt gave her a glass of water. "Bess, you know those tears running down your cheeks are falling to the ground?" "Yes," said Bess. "Those tears go into the ground. The rain takes them to the river, and the river flows into the sea. Then the hot sun makes the wet air from the sea rise up into the sky." Her aunt said, This wet air becomes clouds. The clouds move over the land and rain falls from them. That rain fills our lakes. Our drinking water comes from those lakes. Bess looked at the glass of water she was drinking. "You mean I'm drinking my own tears?" she said, smiling. Her aunt laughed. "Maybe."
Listen and practice.
Some people do things for money. But Jonas Salk did things for people. Mr. Salk was born into a poor family, but he studied hard and became a scientist. At that time, a terrible childhood disease was killing many kids. It was making others very sick and unable to walk. It was called polio. It scared people everywhere. They wanted someone to find a way to protect children from this disease. But that was not easy. Nevertheless, Jonas Salk worked hard. In 1952, he discovered a vaccination that worked. Soon, polio began to disappear. The world was very happy. They honored the great scientist. Mr. Salk could have made a lot of money from his discovery, but he decided that he did not want to do that. He gave away his discovery for free. When a writer asked him why, he said, "I want as many kids as possible to get this vaccination. That alone will make me happy."
Listen and practice.
I'm the youngest girl in my family. My older sisters liked scary movies. I did not. But still, I ended up watching a scary movie with them. I was trying to act older. After the movie, I went right to bed. But I couldn't sleep. Every sound was scary. Finally, I started to fall asleep. But then, I heard a noise under my bed. I was really scared. I screamed. My whole family came rushing into the bedroom. "What is under the bed?" I yelled. My dad reached under the bed and pulled out the monster. I screamed again. Then I laughed. It was our cat, Willie. Dad put Willie on the bed with me. I finally fell asleep. When I woke up in the morning, I said to my cat, "No more scary movies for me, Willie." I could see that he agreed. It had been a scary night for him, too.
Listen and practice.
There were two cats. One was gray, the other was white. White lived in a warm house. Every day he sat by the window, looking outside and feeling all alone. Gray did not have a home. He ran outside catching leaves and chasing mice. He did not have any friends either. Winter was coming, and the days were getting colder. One day, a door opened. Gray looked in. He saw White looking at him. The house was warm. Gray smelled delicious cat food. He took a step into the house. Then he took another. Soon he was in the house. He looked around. It was safe and warm. White walked over. The two touched nose to nose, sniffing each other. Soon they were cuddled together in the soft cat bed.
Listen and practice.
Alan's father wears a suit with a shirt and tie to work. Sometimes the shirt is blue. Sometimes it's green. Sometimes it's white. But every morning he needs Alan's help to get a tie that matches his shirt. What's the problem? Alan's father is colorblind. He cannot tell green from red. He cannot tell blue from green. Nearly 1 in 10 men has some kind of color blindness. The most common kind is red-green, but some people cannot see any colors at all. Imagine how hard that is. Think of how dull the world looks to someone who cannot see colors. Luckily, Alan's father has Alan to help him out. Still, it's a problem he lives with every day.
Listen and practice.
One day, Dad asked me to help him plant some green peas. We put them a few inches into the ground. We covered them with soil and watered them. Every day, I went out to check if anything happened. Days passed, and I started to think planting was a waste of time. Then, one day, as I was doing my usual check, I noticed something. There were little green leaves poking out of the soil. It may seem silly, but it was very exciting to see this. The seeds we planted turned into plants. And these plants were going to grow sweet little peas. It made me think about how everything grows, even how people grow. In some ways, we are not so different from those little peas, I said to my dad. We need food, water, and a place to grow. I learned a lot from those little seeds.
Listen and practice.
One day, my mom and I were looking at our family pictures. You look so much like your daddy when you smile, Mom told me. Really? I said. But I have your eyes, right, Mom? That's right. A couple of days later, while I was practicing my dancing, Mom said, "Did I ever tell you that my daddy owned a dance studio? I bet you get your grace and love of dancing from him. Grandpa died before I was born, but after hearing my mom say this, I felt that I knew him better, since we had something in common. Who else am I like? Let's see. You have a lovely singing voice like Uncle Kevin. And you love girly things just like I did when I was your age. I like those pieces of me, I said as I ran upstairs to sing to my dolls. I like that there are pieces of me that are all my own.
Listen and practice.
9 out of 10 people in the world are right-handed. That means they use their right hand for doing things such as throwing, catching, and writing. But not everyone is right-handed. 1 person in 10 is left-handed. Being left-handed is not a big problem now. But not so long ago in Europe, left-handed people had terrible lives. Everyone believed that left-handed people were evil. If they were caught writing with their left hands, they could be killed. Left-handed children were forced to write with their right hands. They were often beaten until they stopped using their left hands. No one wanted to marry left-handed people. It was hard for them to get a job, and they often had no friends. Today, it's still not easy being left-handed. Most things in the world are designed for people who are right-handed. But the way we think about being left-handed has changed. We now know that left-handed kids are just normal kids who prefer using their left hand over their right to get things done.
Listen and practice.
Andrew and his family were out in their car. Dad was driving. Suddenly, a little bird flew into the windshield and fell. "Stop!" yelled Andrew. Dad stopped the car, looking sad. He said, "The bird is probably dead." Andrew jumped out of the car, pulling off his woolly hat. Gently, he picked up the bird and put it in his hat. Then he put the hat inside his coat. All the way, Andrew kept the bird warm. When they got home, Dad said, "We should bury that little bird, Andrew." Sadly, Andrew took his hat out of his coat and opened it. The little bird opened his eyes and looked at him. "Dad, it's alive! Look!" shouted Andrew. The little bird hopped onto his hand and then flew into a tree. "Well done, Andrew! It was you who saved that little bird," said Mom.